We have never seen anything quite like what happened at the White House today.
Today, Donald Trump irreparably destroyed the 80-year-old post-World War II international order.
An Oval Office ambush of an American ally that will reverberate all around the world.
So Trump brings it much more on a level playing field, gives this guy a reality check, which is what you have to do sometimes, and then you get a deal done. If President Trump didn't give him a reality check, he would literally be going to court thinking that he was in a much stronger position, and the judge would literally whack him down back a few steps and he'd lose everything.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Hope that you guys are all doing good. In this video, we're going to break down the Trump and Zelensky fight. And JD Vance also started swinging a little bit on Zelensky. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video. And do not forget, of course, to like, comment, and share because it helps us out in the glorious algorithm.
You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" This doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, you know.
I know a lot of people speak a lot of trash about Trump, but you gotta give it to the guy. He's very peaceful as a president. I have not heard of Trump wanting to start a lot of wars with other countries. So that's one of the things which I really like with Donald Trump. I like the fact that he wants peace. And even here in Europe, they've been criticizing him for sitting down with Zelensky and trying to talk to Putin. I'm like, if you guys can negotiate peace, that is the best thing. I do not understand why people are so war hungry. I don't get that.
So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace. And
by the way, I also have to say this. I think JD Vance is the next in line. I think after Trump is gone, we're going to see maybe 8 years of JD to further Trump's agenda. I think that that's going to happen because right now I'm thinking, who do we have on the Republican side? It's only just JD, which seems like a good candidate.
Path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking
something
about
which I don't understand with Zelensky's like outfit. Is that his own clothing line? Because he always has that mark. That mark, I've seen him walk around with it. And it seems like he always has the same clothes. Now I get it. It's all, he's a theater kid and he's like, I gotta play the role of a poor president, but he's not really that poor. I've seen reports of him buying houses in other countries.
Zelensky has just stormed out of the White House, and his only chance at having some sort of opportunity to resolve the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. There's a few important points that need to be made. Number one is that your opinion on this might be different depending on whether you're European or American, because if you're from the UK, you have been fed a constant narrative of utter lies by mainstream media. You've had idiot prime ministers going over there for their photo shoot dressed in their camouflage gear, trying to push the narrative that Ukraine is somehow, defiantly standing up for democracy and trying to push the false narrative that Zelensky is actually a political leader as opposed to a fully paid for actor and billionaire.
But those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he killed.
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire, all of them.
You know what I've noticed with this whole thing? It's just that beggars can't be choosers. You can't. If you're a beggar, you're gonna have a very, very difficult life. And that's why I'm like, you gotta get your money up. And listen, I also have this same philosophy for our people, Namibians, right? We're beggars. Right now, the Germans are still there. They still own our country. So I'm just like, we need to do something. We need to become so powerful that they need to bow down to us.
Only one person mentioned peace, world peace, and it's not being spoken about enough. This has caused huge debate all across the world. He was dictating him. He wasn't showing appreciation to America, to and fro. But the main objective for me, look, you're all welcome to your opinion, but not everybody's going to agree with it. But the one thing everybody should agree with and have as a main objective is world peace. That is all we should be asking. For me, I don't care how we get there. I don't care what they do. Just end it. End all conflicts and end all wars and let some normality resume back in the world. Because it's up here, we need to just bring it down and have some normality. But people are squabbling amongst themselves. Oh, he said this. He should be, as a collective, end it now.
So I'm looking at Zelensky and I'm just like, brother, you have no power. You're sitting in a room with Trump and Vance, and those are the powerhouse. And then you're talking to Putin. Yeah, we're going to fight Putin, but you're not going to win this war. Sometimes the best thing to do is just let the bully take your lunch money. It's better to survive today so you can live and you can fight another day. Now, Trump, I get it. It's crazy. They want the minerals and they want to sign a deal, but at least they're offering him some form of protection. Quitting while you're ahead is not the same thing as quitting. And a lot of people today do not want to quit. Their ego won't allow that. And this guy, Zelensky, has too much of an ego.
Told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with.
Jesus. You give a homeless man something to eat. You give him something to eat, and he's like, I don't want it. I want steak. Listen, buddy, you're a beggar. You're not in a position to bargain. If I give you a sandwich, you eat the sandwich, buddy. You're not going to be bougie about it. You've gotten so much money from the United States, so much. And what do? You ask for more. Why is this man gambling with kids' lives? Kids, you're 19 years old. You gotta go and fight a war. For what? A war which literally 5 men can sit down and just end. And this is what I hate about this whole war. Even here in Sweden, people are, why are they having a meeting without us? Listen, Europe, if Trump and Putin want to sit down and they want to end the war, that's great. You guys have been allowing this to happen for 8 years. Nothing happened in those 8 years. Okay, not 8 years, okay, maybe 4 years. Nothing happened. So now a person actually comes in and says, you know what? No, we're going to end this. What is wrong with that?
I think Europe will stand with Ukraine. And I think it's important that we try and, okay, this has been a huge, I think, unsettling setback today. There's no question about that. But we can't lose hope here. We've got to hold our nerve in Europe. We've got to get behind Ukraine, engage with the United States and others with a view to giving Ukraine the security that it requires. Remember, Europe has very significant sanctions on Russia. And I don't think Russia is as strong as everybody is saying it is. I think the sanctions have hurt Russia and certainly will hurt Russia in the medium term because they've been denied a lot of key equipment and so on like that. So I don't believe the cards are all on Russia's side. And I think that from our perspective, I think Europe needs to hold its nerve. I think what will happen is I think there will be an attempt to re-engage by some of the key European leaders.
You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion. We gave you military equipment, and you met it brave, but they had to use our military equipment. If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
I can tell you.
You're running low on soldiers.
Please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this. If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that wasn't with me.
Means.
That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Damn.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful.
Why do people hate Putin so much? Everyone's calling him a dictator. The same thing with Gaddafi. Gaddafi was one of the greatest presidents ever. But everyone, for some reason, have to call him a dictator. I'm just like, just read a book. There was nothing wrong with what Gaddafi did. But this is propaganda. And this is the thing which I really hate about propaganda. You don't know at the end of the day why you hate a person. You're just told, you're just spoon-fed by the media to just hate people. And I'm like, why? At least tell me why. Okay, there's another guy in history, and I'm not gonna say his name, but Kanye is wilding with that guy right now. He's doing crazy things, you know. Adolf, right? And I'm just like, let's sit down, okay? And let's just hear both sides. There's nothing wrong with hearing both sides. And that is what Trump and JD Vance is trying to do. They're just trying to sit down with both parties and listen. Okay, you guys got a divorce. Why do you get the divorce? Oh, he was cheating on me. Okay, he was cheating on you. Why were you cheating on her? Oh, because she wasn't giving it up. Then there you have the answer. So I'm just like, yes, I know that that is a very simplified way of looking at it, but it kind of makes sense.
If you're American, you'll understand much more sensibly, Trump doesn't have to do any of this. Trump doesn't have to get involved, but he knows he can end the war and stop the unnecessary forced conscription of Ukrainian children to go to the front line. The important thing as well is the level of disrespect. Zelensky shows disrespect in three main regards. Number one, the way he speaks to President Donald J. Trump as an individual with JD Vance there in front of the press. Those are not conversations for in front of the press. Number two, the way he dresses and appears, not wearing a suit, not dressing for the occasion, sitting there with his arms crossed, playing up like he's a comedian in some kind of sitcom when in fact he's in the Oval Office and the Oval Office matters. And thirdly, and most importantly, disrespecting the office of the President of the United States of America.
His whole approach to this meeting was completely wrong, completely misplaced. He got it wrong on so many levels. You've got to understand what cards you have to play. The only card Zelensky had in this whole entire conversation was around a minerals deal. That was it, nothing else. Talking about security guarantees in the middle of the Oval Office, when you know that the US president does not want to offer any security guarantees, he's made this clear. He doesn't want boots on the ground. He hasn't committed to any air power. Why put yourself in the position where you are going to be belittled in that room by Vance and Trump? Why do it? What is your message in that meeting to them? You're basically telling them that this is going to come to you too. You're not going to be secure. You've got an ocean between you, but you're not going to be secure. They don't want to be lectured by you on this. So the whole entire body language, messaging, the cards you have to make, it was all in the wrong place.
Let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry, here.
It's going to be a tough deal to make. Because the attitudes have to change.
Yeah.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head? Okay? What if they broke it?
Damn.
I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that.
You see the way Trump talks to Zelensky? That's what we've been missing. That's what I voted for. That's what I've been looking for. Somebody talking with their chin. Who you talking to? This is America. You better be humble when you walk up in here, making demands. Who you think you talking to? This big Trump and big Vance. And I like how Vance stepped right in. Trump sat back like a G. Trump came in, no, I got this, big homie. Hey, bro, you need to check yourself. We're doing you a favor. The United States does not need Ukraine. We can sit back and let Russia destroy y'all. So you better come with some humility, bro.
I have never in my life heard anything remotely close to what we have just witnessed. We have just witnessed history. We have just witnessed something that is closer to Jerry Springer over war on the European continent. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if someone's going to emerge with a black eye. Zelensky looked like he was going to cry at points during that.
I was literally at my desk, had the TV on, it was on mute, and I just caught it out of the side of my eye, unmuted it, stopped what I was doing, and I watched it unfold. And look, I know my opinion is going to be hugely divided, but when this war happened and everyone was hanging their Ukraine flags and posting on Facebook and all of this stuff, I just said, why is everyone so quick just to take the side that the UK government and the UK media says that you should take without actually getting into it? And I never ever got the rationale behind all of the support. Yes, I think this guy is very, very brave. I think his courage and his determination to stand by what he believes in is absolutely brilliant. And I do feel for the Ukraine people, but I also feel for the Russian people and the Russian soldiers. No one wants a war, especially when it brings everyone else in. And literally, we are robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're taking winter fuel allowances off our pensions. And in the same breath, we're funding a war that we should never be involved in. And everyone is feeling the pinch because of the utility prices going through the roof. It's a ridiculous war driven by ridiculous leaders. And I have to take my hat off to Donald Trump for absolutely standing up for the right thing, which is to end this stupid, ridiculous war. Now, I watched this a couple of times over. And there's a point where no other media, no other TikTok account has sort of flagged it. But I think it's actually crucial. When Trump says, I've made you a tough guy, because he's given him the enabler to be a bit standoffish, a bit bolshy about his position. Because let's face it, there isn't a catch chance in this world that Ukraine could beat Russia, could win a Russian war on their own. So because Trump or the US, any president, has been enabling this guy to stand his ground. He's actually now following it through in his negotiations to try and convince the US or anyone to continue the war. And that's exactly what's happening, because he doesn't want to give up. And this basic human nature, human instinct is so rife through so many people. And for years, I was running sales teams and we were like the best performing in like the country. And it was because of very basic human nature understanding. When you have someone like this who is completely faced with annihilation, literally, if he bites the hand that feeds him, there's no way he can win. And it's so funny because, like in any basic sales, like in my deal negotiations, you have to understand what the other side are going to attempt to think and rationale what you're doing. So you manipulate the offers and the position and the arguments to basically convince them to come up with a deal that you wanted in the first place. It's basic sales tactics. The best salesperson is getting the person that you're selling to come up with the deal themselves, to convince you that they've come up with the deal and the reason to buy. And actually, that's what you wanted them to do all along. That's how you do it. And that's exactly what Trump is doing. This whole staged argument was the start of actually getting this deal done. And so many people have missed it. I mean, I've been watching videos, Europeans, English people, Americans crying, saying, we apologize to the Ukrainian leader. I'll get a grip. Honestly, this is so basic. This is the start of the end of the war. This is a brilliant thing. And Trump had to do it because you can't go into a negotiation when everyone thinks that one side is completely in the wrong. And this guy, if he thought that he had that support, he would be trying to negotiate terms that would never be agreed. They'd never get a deal done. It's as simple as that. So Trump brings it much more on a level playing field, gives this guy a reality check, which is what you have to do sometimes, and then you get a deal done. If President Trump didn't give him a reality check, he would literally be going to court thinking that he was in a much stronger position, and the judge would literally whack him down back a few steps and he'd lose everything. And that's what's going to happen. So we are so close now to getting a deal done. I cannot tell you, I can't believe so many people have missed this. And all you've got to do is watch some of the words that President Trump say. For me, I think this is an absolute must. This had to happen. This had to knock President Zelensky back into a position where he has to reflect so you can get a deal done, a realistic deal, a better deal than what he would do if he lost the support of Trump and he went for this full-blown war.
Yeah, that's where we're going to stop it. To sum it up, I did not really think of it from that perspective, but I do understand because I've worked in sales. And Trump is a shark and he's very, very, very good at negotiating. This needed to happen in order for Zelensky to understand the vast power that America has. So yeah, it's business 101 and Trump played him like a violin. And I think they're going to sit down. And when they actually do sit down, Trump is going to have the leverage because now Zelensky looks like a fool and he's going to beg to sign that deal. And what they can do is they can actually amp it up a little bit and ask for a little bit more. So those are my thoughts when it comes to all of this. Like, comment, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.